Hi, I'm Dave Maston with OSPI. This is our Legislative Weekly Update. A lot going on with the House and the Senate coming out with their budgets. We see more spending for special education, more in counselors, a lot of good things in the budgets this year. We're looking forward over the next 2 weeks for the legislature to round that up and finish on time and have a lot more funding in education. At the beginning of the session, we talked about the governor's budget and how the governor put out the budget. Well, now we're toward the end of session, and the House and Senate have both come out with their budgets. They're in the process of voting those through the chambers, and they'll be getting together. Budget writers on both sides will be getting together and finalizing and putting together a final unified budget that will be sent to the governor. We expect that in a couple of weeks. At this point, I want to highlight some of the differences and some of the similarities between the two budgets. On the one hand, the Senate puts a huge focus on special education. Last year we put about $155 million more in special education. The Senate now adds about another $20 million to that in their proposed budget. On the House side, they didn't really focus on that, but they put about $50 million into counselors, really focusing on elementary schools with that. So this is a really good add on the counselor side that we saw in the House budget. We're hoping to get both, frankly, by the time they get their unified budget. In addition to differences, there's a lot of areas where there's similarities. So one area is in paraeducators. We have a paraeducator bill from last year for professional development and requiring 4 days of professional development, which is a good start, but the funding wasn't there last year. So this year they added more funding. Both sides are around $12, $13 million in additional funding to make sure that our paraeducators are getting the professional development that they need. Another area where there's similarities, and this is more in the capital budget than the operating budget, but we have a lot of schools that are at risk if there's an earthquake or a tsunami, and we've had a big study that we just did, and we came to the legislature and said, hey, we want you to fund these retrofits. So seismic retrofits is what they're called in these different schools, and we're happy to report that both the governor, the House, and the Senate all came in with a good start on funding those schools that need that help in case there's an earthquake. With that, I'd like to close and thank you for this opportunity to give this legislative weekly update. If you have comments or questions or things that you would like for me to touch on in the next legislative weekly update, go ahead and get in contact with us, and we'll do the best we can to answer your questions and touch on the issues that you care about.